Another important endocrine gland, that is pineal gland. Okay, so the main secretion that comes from this pineal gland, that is melatonin hormone. So the function of this melatonin hormone, that it controls the process of sleep. So that is why we can say that melatonin hormone, it is known as the hormone which controls the sleep or wake cycle. So the pineal gland, its main secretion, that is known as melatonin hormone, and its function, it controls sleep or wake cycle. Then another one, that is about gonads. So up to this, that means from pituitary gland to pineal gland. Pituitary gland, then thyroid gland, adrenal gland, parathyroid gland, pancreas, then this thymus and pineal gland. These all are known as main endocrine glands. Clear? Then these gonads, like pancreas, already showed that pancreas is known as dual gland because it have two types of secretion. One is endocrine secretion and another one, that is exocrine secretion. That means pancreas, it is concerned with the secretion of certain hormones like insulin, glucagon. On the other hand, their exocrine secretion that are known as some digestive enzymes. Okay, pancreatic juices. So like this here, testes as well as ovary. The main function of these testes as well as ovary, that is, they helps in the production of testes. They produce in the production. They helps in the production of sperms. On the other hand, ovary, they helps in the release of ovums. Okay. Not only that, both these testes as well as ovary, they also secrete certain chemicals known as hormones. So, like pancreas, these testes as well as ovary, they also known as dual glands because two types of secretions are there or two main functions are there. Because one part of these organs, they concerned with the release of certain hormones like sex hormones, testes, testosterone, and ovary, female sex hormones like estrogen as well as progesterone. Along with these testes, they concern with the release of testosterone, male sex hormone, as well as they helps in the release or they helps in the production of male gamete, that is known as sperm. On the other hand, ovary, they also helps in the production of female gamete, that is known as ovum. So that is why we can say that this pancreas, then testes, ovary, these are known as dual glands. D-U-A-L, dual glands. Clear? That means two types of secretions are there. Clear? So these gonads, we can't say that gonads are endocrine glands. Okay, we can't consider it as case of that endocrine. It's not fully endocrine glands. Okay, endocrine secretion also there. That is hormones there. Okay, sex hormone secretions are there along with the production of gametes. Okay, male as well as female gametes. So the endocrine secretion of these testes, that is known as testosterone, that is known as male sex hormone, testosterone. So the main functions of this testosterone, it helps in the process of spermatogenesis. Okay, or it stimulates the process of spermatogenesis or the formation of sperms from testes. So it stimulates the production of sperms or it stimulates the process of spermatogenesis as well as it helps in the development of secondary sexual characters in males. Clear? Like this, the ovary. So its endocrine secretions are estrogen as well as progesterone. Okay, two hormones are there, that is estrogen as well as progesterone. So their main function, they helps to maintain pregnancy, maintenance of pregnancy as well as the development of mammary glands or breast as well as the proper development as well as the functioning of uterus. Okay, development of uterine muscles as well as development of uterus. Then it helps to maintain pregnancy. Not only that, like this testosterone, this estrogen as well as progesterone, they also help in the development of secondary sexual characters in females, like menstruation, okay, or menstrual cycle. They controls the menstrual cycle. Then the process of oogenesis as well as the release of ovum, that is known as ovulation. Okay, so menstrual cycle, it controls menstrual cycle, it controls ovulation process, as well as it maintains pregnancy. It helps in the development of mammary glands or breast, as well as it helps in the development of uterus. Clear? So all these are the functions of these gonads or testes as well as ovary. Then another important structure, that is placenta. Okay, placenta. Placenta means it is the connection between, okay, it is a close or intimate connection between the mother as well as the fetus. Okay, at the time of delivery or at the time of pregnancy, placenta, that is an intimate connection between the mother as well as the baby or mother as well as the fetus, and it connects this or it forms a connection between or close connection between this mother as well as fetus. So through this connection, through this placenta, the exchange of gas that takes place between mother's blood as well as fetal blood, as well as the process of excretion or the removal of waste material from fetus body, that also takes place through this placenta. Then the process of nutrition. Fetus will gets nourishment through this connection known as placenta. So this placenta, it will act as a connection for getting nourishment as well as it helps to remove waste material as well as it helps in the exchange of gases. Clear? So this placenta, at the time of pregnancy, this placenta acts as a temporary endocrine gland. Okay, placenta will act as a temporary endocrine gland, and it helps in the release of progesterone as well as estrogen. Okay, progesterone as well as estrogen. Okay, like this ovary, this placenta that forms at the time of pregnancy, it will act as a temporary endocrine gland only at the time of pregnancy, because these connection or these placenta that will form only in the condition or only in case of pregnancy. So they start to release hormonal secretion like estrogen as well as progesterone, and the main function of this estrogen as well as progesterone that is secreted from this placenta, they helps in the maintenance of pregnancy or helps to maintain pregnancy as well as the proper growth of that fetus, as well as it helps in the maintenance of pregnancy period. Clear? So we can see that this placenta, okay, placenta we can say that it is an endocrine gland, but it acts as a temporary endocrine gland only for a few months, only for 8 or 9 months, only for few months. It will also act as a temporary gland by releasing estrogen as well as progesterone hormone, which helps in the maintenance of pregnancy. Clear? Then another one important thing, that is about corpus luteum. Okay, corpus luteum. So corpus luteum means it is a particular structure. That means it is otherwise it is known as yellow body. Corpus luteum, otherwise it is also known as yellow body. And this yellow body or this corpus luteum, this is a particular structure. That means at the time of ovulation, okay, at the time of ovulation, after the rupturing of ovum from the ovary, okay, suppose if it is ovum, then after the rupturing of this ovum or after the maturation of this ovum, so after this ovulation process, okay, after the ovulation process, the remaining part or the remaining part of this ovum, okay, the remaining part of this ovum, it transforms to a yellow colored body, that is known as yellow body or corpus luteum. Okay, corpus luteum means that is the structure or yellow colored body which form after the process of ovulation or after the rupturing of mature ovum from the ovary. Okay, so the remaining part of that structure, the remaining part of that ovum which is released from this ovary, that returns in the form of corpus luteum. Clear? So this corpus luteum that also acts as an endocrine gland by secreting hormones like HCG, relaxin and progesterone. Okay, HCG, relaxin and progesterone. So mainly this corpus luteum, it secretes hormones in the time of pregnancy period. Okay, in case of pregnancy period. So this corpus luteum, the time of pregnancy period, they secrete hormones like HCG, then relaxin as well as progesterone hormones. So HCG means its full form human chorionic human chorionic gonadotropin. So HCG or otherwise it is known as human chorionic gonadotropin. So HCG means it is known as human chorionic gonadotropin. So it is mainly secretes from the corpus luteum or the remaining part of that ruptured ovum. Clear? So that remaining part of that ruptured ovum, it releases human chorionic gonadotropin. And the main function of this human chorionic gonadotropin, it prevents the premature abortion. Okay, it prevents the premature abortion. Okay, so it helps to prevent the premature abortion of fetus. Clear? Then the another one, that is relaxing hormone. So the main function of relaxing hormone, it helps in the relaxation of pelvic muscles at the time of delivery. So at the time of delivery, they helps in the relaxation. So due to the contraction as well as relaxation of pelvic floor muscles or the muscles of uterus or uterine wall, so they undergo rhythmic contraction as well as relaxation to push the baby downward. So this relaxing hormone, they helps in the relaxation of pelvic muscles. Okay, lower part of the abdomen, it contains pelvic muscles. So this pelvic region, or it helps in the relaxation or it helps in the contraction as well as the relaxation of pelvic muscles at the time of delivery. Then progesterone hormone, that also secretes from this corpus luteum, and the main function, as like in other case, they also helps in the maintenance of pregnancy or helps in the full term pregnancy or they helps to maintain pregnancy. So this HCG, human chorionic gonadotropin, the presence of HCG, the presence of HCG in the blood, that shows the girl or a woman that is pregnant. So when we do the pregnancy test for checking whether someone is pregnant or not, first we are testing about the presence of this HCG hormone in their urine or in their blood. So by checking or by testing the presence of HCG in the blood, we can check or we can confirm whether someone is pregnant or not, only in case of pregnant ladies. Clear? So HCG, it prevents premature abortion, and relaxing, they helps in the relaxation as well as contraction of pelvic muscles, and progesterone hormone, that helps in the maintenance of pregnancy. Then now we will discuss about certain deficiency diseases related with these hormonal secretions. So some diseases that takes place due to the deficiency or the deficient condition of the secretion of hormones. Here, sometimes due to deficiency of certain hormones in our blood, it may result in some diseased condition as well as the excessive condition. Sometimes the excessive secretion of hormone, that also will result in malfunctioning of our body. So some examples, dwarfism. Dwarfism means due to the deficiency of secretion of growth hormone. So if there is less amount of growth hormone present in our blood or present in our body, then sometime what will happen? That is known as dwarfism. That means our bones as well as muscles, okay, bones as well as muscle, it will not grow properly. Okay, so it will not grow properly. That means a malfunctioning of such a kind of hormone, that is known as dwarfism. So those people, those who are suffering from this dwarfism or deficiency of growth hormone in their body, their muscles as well as bones, they do not develop properly. Okay, there is no normal growth. So there is reduction in the growth. So sometimes what will happen, their height or weight, that will be very less. Okay, then in case of another disease, that is known as gigantism. So just opposite to this dwarfism, in case of gigantism, those who are suffering from this gigantism, due to excessive secretion of growth hormone, there is overgrowth of bones and muscles in their body. So due to this overgrowth as well as development of these muscles as well as bones in their body will show some kinds of enormous growth. Okay, so body size will be very big in size. So that condition is known as gigantism. And cretinism, another disease, that is known as cretinism, and it is due to the malfunctioning of thyroid gland or secretion of thyroxine hormone in case of children. And goiter, that is due to the deficiency of thyroxine hormone in the blood, and the secretion of this thyroxine, that is mainly controlled by iodine. Okay, so iodine is very essential for the secretion of thyroxine hormone. So if there is very less amount of iodine present in our body, then it will badly affect the secretion of thyroxine hormone from thyroid gland. So those who are suffering from this goiter, doctors will advise them to take more amount of iodized salt in their diet. So by taking iodized salt in our diet, to a particular extent, we can prevent the deficiency of iodine in our body. Clear? Then diabetes insipidus. So diabetes insipidus means it is a condition which results from the decreased secretion of ADH. So ADH, it helps in the reabsorption of water from blood. So what will happen if there is very less amount or the decreased secretion of ADH in the blood? So what will happen? So more water will lose from our body along with urine. So they will suffer from a condition that is known as diabetes insipidus. And another one that is known as diabetes mellitus. So diabetes mellitus means it is due to the lower secretion of insulin in our body. So due to lower secretion of insulin in our body, they will suffer from diabetes mellitus. Okay, diabetes insipidus means decreased secretion of ADH, and diabetes mellitus means that is lower secretion of insulin. So the person, those who are suffering from diabetic, so doctors will give them injections of insulin. So by taking insulin injections, those who are suffering from diabetic, they can overcome this particular condition. Okay, because by injecting this insulin in the body, so they can overcome this lower secretion of insulin. Clear? So diabetes insipidus as well as diabetes mellitus. Diabetes insipidus, that is due to decreased secretion of ADH, and diabetes mellitus, that is lower secretion of insulin hormone. Then now just discuss about the negative and positive feedback mechanisms of hormonal action. Okay, the controlling method or hormonal actions. So suppose we can consider one example. Okay, here just we can consider the release of thyroid hormone from thyroid gland. Okay, then how does the release of thyroid that is controlled? Okay, or how does that mechanism works in case of thyroid hormone? Okay, positive feedback is there as well as negative feedback is there. So as we know that hypothalamus, okay, hypothalamus it secretes releasing hormone. So releasing hormone means which releasing hormone? Here we are discussing about thyroid gland or thyroid hormone. So that thyroid TRH means thyrotropic releasing hormone. So hypothalamus always produce or always secrete releasing hormone. Clear? And pituitary gland, it secretes stimulating hormone. Clear? So hypothalamus, it secretes thyrotropic releasing hormone or TRH. So releasing hormone is secreted from this hypothalamus, and when hypothalamus secretes releasing hormone, then further due to the influence of that releasing hormone, the anterior pituitary, they release stimulating hormone. So TSH, thyroid stimulating hormone, that is secreted from anterior lobe of pituitary. Then when this anterior lobe of pituitary, it secretes stimulating hormone, further it stimulates the target gland. So this target gland means that is thyroid gland. So now thyroid gland is stimulated by the secretion of anterior pituitary. Okay, or stimulating hormone that stimulate the thyroid gland or stimulate the target gland. So if there is stimulation of this thyroid gland, then normally thyroid gland will release hormone thyroxine, that is known as target gland hormone, or thyroxine is released. Clear? This is the mechanism of release of hormone. So firstly, hypothalamus, it will secrete releasing hormone. Always all the releasing hormones are secreted hypothalamus. Then, due to the release of or due to the secretion of releasing hormone from hypothalamus, the further part, that is anterior pituitary, that is secretes stimulating hormone, thyroid stimulating hormone. Then due to that stimulating hormone, thyroid gland gets stimulated, and due to that stimulation of thyroid gland, it secretes its secretion, that is known as thyroxine hormone, to the blood. Clear? Then how does this positive and negative feedback mechanism works? So here, if thyroxine in the blood is high, okay, when the level of thyroxine that is secreted to the blood, if the amount of that thyroxine in our blood is high, okay, blood is high, so what will happen? Normally there is negative feedback will take place. Okay, negative feedback. Negative feedback means that it reduces the secretion of thyroid gland. Okay. Then if thyroxine is low, very low amount of thyroxine is present in our blood, then which type of mechanism will work? Then positive feedback mechanism. That means there is increase. Okay, so increase in the secretion of the level of thyroxine in the blood, that is known as positive feedback mechanism. Clear? So how does it work? If the level of thyroxine hormone that is high in the blood, then what will happen? Then it sends message to hypothalamus. So it inhibits this release feedback. It inhibits, that means negative feedback, and it inhibits the releasing hormone 1. Releasing hormone 1 means which one? That is releasing hormone, thyrotropic releasing hormone. So here it inhibits the secretion of that releasing hormone from hypothalamus. So the secretion of this releasing hormone that is inhibited. So due to that inhibition, further what will happen? Further there is reduction in the secretion of stimulating hormone from anterior pituitary. Normally this target gland that also do not get stimulated by the secretion of anterior pituitary. So there is no stimulating hormone, then what will happen? Thyroid gland that will not release thyroxine. So like this way, we can reduce the level of thyroxine in the blood. Clear? So the level of thyroxine in the blood is reduced. This is known as negative feedback mechanism. Clear? Then, if positive feedback mechanism, just opposite to that, if there is less amount of thyroxine in the blood, then message sends to this hypothalamus, and due to that certain external stimulus, this hypothalamus it start to releasing hormone. Then releasing hormone further affects anterior pituitary and it secretes stimulating hormone. On the other hand, this stimulating hormone it will stimulate the thyroid gland and it secretes thyroxine hormone. So now the level of thyroid or thyroxine in the blood that will increases. That is known as positive feedback mechanism. And this is the basic mechanism behind positive as well as negative feedback control of hormonal action.